Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. For those of you who I have not met before, I'm Lita Lewis, Dr. Lewis, and it's a pleasure to see some of you again that we've worked together many times. So first of all, thank you, Franklin, for coming in and helping us. Let's just start with prayer. Dear Father in heaven, thank you so much for the opportunity to have technology that's able to help us connect and organize. I ask that you would please help us now as we talk about ways that we want to share you with those around us and some of us further away from us. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Okay, so we're going to talk about the Liberty and Health Alliance Puerto Rico trip. Franklin, are you controlling the slides or am I doing it on my end? Because I'm trying to go forward and I can't seem to go forward. Uh-oh. Mariah, is this on my end or is this on his end?
I think his end. I'm going to be controlling the slides.
Okay. So I'll just give you guys an update real quickly where things are at with the Phoenix event. I know most of you are not able to come to that, which is totally understandable, but I did want to give an update. We are, because of what happened at the end of last week, we are now only we had a $10,000 matching fund, and if we get that matching fund, so $20,000 between the lady that gave up to $10,000 plus the $20,000, the last remaining $19,000 of the original $90,000 that they dropped to $75,000, we will have the mobile dental unit. So this is amazing. This facility, this RV, I should say, is absolutely gorgeous. It has 4 full exam units in it, dental chairs, and it's just absolutely perfect. So by God's grace, if we get the remaining matching 10,000, then we will have that. And again, the dates for Phoenix, for those of you who happen to be in the area, is 2 Sundays. It's October the 12th and October the 19th. So we are very excited about that. It's in combination with Pastor Elder Keys. Ed Keys is the conference president of the Arizona Conference. Franklin, are you able to move forward with our slides now? Perfect. So I just told you about the dates. Again, it's October 12 and 19, and that's for the beautiful, either way, we're still going to do the event, but it would be wonderful to have the mobile dental unit. And the neat thing is now we will have a fully functioning mobile dental unit, the mobile medical unit, and then of course the Adventist bookmobile. Next slide, please. So we're talking today about the Puerto Rico, the Vieques. I'm trying to say that right. I've been butchering it so far. Vieques, Puerto Rico. The mission trip is officially the 4th through the 11th of January. That's a Sunday to a Sunday. The 4th is essentially spent in travel, with the 11th being spent in traveling back. So next slide, please. So some people ask the question, why in the world Vieques? What is Vieques anyway? It's a very small island, tiny little island off of the main Puerto Rican island. We'll see a map in just a minute. Vieques only has about 8,000 people that live on the entire island. It's a very unusual island in that it had the very last fort, the last Spanish fort, if you will, that existed. But another thing that happened on Vieques that's very sad, Hurricane Maria came through in 2017 and just annihilated the island. The people were without any contact, any communication for almost a week. They had no water, no supplies. They lost their only hospital medical care system way back in 2017. Many people lost their lives. You can see one of the cemeteries there. And with the loss of their hospital and their healthcare system, they have had no medical care or dental care essentially on the island since that time. They have a very small urgent care, but essentially anything that needs to be done medically, the people have to either get on the ferry that we'll talk about in just a minute, which takes a fair amount of time. It can take over an hour, and then from there they still have to get to San Juan, or they would have to be flown in and out, which is quite costly. So they're very much in need of medical and dental care and all forms of medical care. Another issue It was a military bombing site. It was a trial bombing site. And so the island until 2003 was really left in shambles. And so there's this great dichotomy between all the people, and you're going to see the pictures in just a minute, why people want to come to Vieques on vacation, because it's absolutely gorgeous. But there's the wealthy tourists and the kind of the wealthier upper class, and then there's the very, very poor people. And there's really nothing in between, as one of my friends, Gary Middleton, I believe he's on, specified so clearly. So Vieques is in great need. Next slide, please. Vieques also has a small Seventh-day Adventist church. They had a church school. They had an academy there actually until just recently. I think it was in 2020, either late 23 or 2024. I think it might have even been 2024 when they had to shut down the academy. And the academy is actually equipped with showers, a nice kitchen, several classrooms. So our academy students, and we'll come to this in just a minute, have the opportunity of staying there for free and to a limited number. So it's really a first come, first served basis. This is not for those of us that are employed. This is really for our academy students, and we'll come back to that in just a few minutes. So what are our goals? What are we hoping to accomplish on Vieques? First of all, to physically help the community, to demonstrate God's love. It just so happens that the pastor of the small Adventist church that's still there, they have only about 50 people coming every Sabbath, maybe less. But just so happens that the pastor's secretary is the same secretary of the mayor of Vieques. And so when the secretary talked to the mayor and told them about this wonderful trip that you all are, God willing, planning to go on, the mayor got very excited. And they are, it looks like, by God's grace, we're still working through the process, and our wonderful pastor, Pastor Gladys, has been doing just an amazing job. I know she was going to try to join us this evening. I don't know, Pastor Gladys, if you're on, if you can say hello. If not, we'll just keep going. But Pastor Gladys has been working with the mayor's office and other facilities, and been really our boots on the ground transportation and accommodations, and you'll see some of that in just a few minutes. And it looks like through her work that we will probably be able to get the main plaza, God willing, for no cost. And that was where we will do the clinic, the outreach, the medical and the dental event, which is the main location where everybody goes to on the whole island. And then in addition to that, we are going to be focusing not an evangelistic series as one we're certainly not going to call it an evangelistic series to the community. We're going to call it whole person health, physical, mental, and spiritual meetings at nighttime. The island, and talking to Pastor Gladys today, the island is very, very Christian, very strong Catholic and very Christian, of lots of different denominations and religion, well, it's the same religion, Christianity, but various denominations. And they are not at all in favor of out and out evangelism. So we're going to use that right arm that God told us how to use, and we're going to be discreet and loving, and we're going to present the same topics, some not all the same topics, but many of the same topics we presented in Asheville, but we will be doing it with more of a health perspective, while still presenting the beautiful truths that Jesus wants to allow the people to have. Those meetings will take place in the evening. We're going to go through the rest of the slides in just a second, but other benefits of this trip is these kinds of mission trips, and all LHA events do this, and enjoyable lifelong relationships. But I remember the very first mission trip I went on as a young girl. I went to Guatemala, actually, Shab, Guatemala. It was up in the mountains, and it was a Maranatha trip. We stayed in tents. There were chickens and roosters that would wake me up in the morning. We bathed with oxen in the local river. I would not recommend that, but that's what we ended up doing. And it was literally a life-changing experience for me and shaped the rest of my life. And so we're really hoping that the young people that are participating, Thunderbird Academy is coming, other academies are welcome to participate, as many as would like. But well, within reason of accommodations, of course. But this is a wonderful opportunity for young people to get involved in mission service. The plan is that the young people will be doing the 3 presentations at nighttime. So they will be presenting the physical, the mental, and the spiritual blessings of the topics that we choose to have them talk about. We will be helping them put their slides together, but we're very excited about the young people's active involvement. And then those of us who are older, helping to coach them. So this is going to be a great opportunity. Additionally, for the young people, whether in high school or college, they can get college credit, college biology credit. Actually, Pacific Union College will be coming, and they will be offering during the event the laboratory credit for the 2 biology courses. I think they're level 200 and 300. And then afterwards, during the winter semester, the young people can take online classes and get the class credit and take the quizzes, and they will have finished the course. Next slide, please. So there is an additional opportunity because we are really focusing on the young people. And obviously this trip is not just for young people. I really want to get that across. Somebody asked me, is this just for young people? No, this is a regular LHA mission trip, but we just are trying to emphasize the blessing for the young people as well, and that they have they have a very prominent role in this great work that God's commissioned us to do. So immediately preceding the event in Orlando is GYC. I spelled it wrong there, but anyways, GYC. And it's December 30. Actually, I think it officially starts the 31st through January 3rd. And we'll talk more about those specifics in just a minute. But we will be taking off. The reason that's important is because the majority of us that are coming with a group of young people, at least from out west, will be taking off from Orlando. Next slide, please. We'll be taking off from Orlando on January 4, out of Orlando, going straight to San Juan, Puerto Rico. So option 1 and option 2 for the young people. I know we have some Thunderbird Academy students. I'm not going to go through all of this. You guys can watch it on your own. But suffice it to say, there's 2 different options for departure. Both of them, interestingly enough, come to almost the exact same cost as far as airfare is concerned. So there's a slight additional cost for the actual GYC convention and food, etc. But the actual airfare itself, we have worked out prices that actually come to almost exactly the same. So both departing, so if the person was coming, for those of you from the academies and coming from out west, we would be departing on the 3rd. If you're not going to GYC and going to San Juan, arriving in San Juan on the 4th, which is when all the rest of us will be reaching to San Juan. So next slide, please. So the whole point is we need to get, and those of you who are, I'm so sorry, go back one slide. For those of you coming from different locations, the plan is to meet approximately in San Juan around 2:30 in the afternoon on the 4th, if you would like transportation from San Juan to Ciba. So next slide, please. This is the part that, and again, when you're bringing in your transportation, just please plan. If you need transportation to Ciba, please plan that you arrive in San Juan Airport around 2:30 in the afternoon on January 4. So if you look where this, I don't know, Franklin, if you can help me with this, because obviously my cursor doesn't show up, but you can point to San Juan, the little red dot up in where it says Atlantic Ocean on the north side of the island. Yep, right there. Now, Ciba is just below Fiardo. See that place just below Fiardo over there on the coast? It says the passage. It says passage of Vieques. Do you see where the water says passage of Vieques? And then there's Vieques Island over towards Franklin, can you go over to the other side? No, Nope. Go back. Oh boy. If you can just go back to, can you mute Franklin if you don't mind, whoever's speaking, that would be
That's why I
awesome.
was doing that, because I needed to mute him. Please
Oh,
keep your mics muted, please. Everyone except Dr. Lewis. I'm trying to do the slides plus trying to mute people.
oh, bless your heart. Thank you, Franklin. I'm so sorry. So, yeah, if you can all just please mute your mics, that would be helpful. So if you'll look at the slide, look way over where you see Fiardo, and just beneath that, out on that tip, is where Ciba is. So you take the little cursor and you go from San Juan. There's actually a road that goes all the way down to Fiardo and then out to the ocean. Yeah, this way along that little road out to Fiardo and then down is where Ciba is. So it's about we plan for 2 hours, but it's about an hour and a half plus drive. Once you get to Ciba, there is, and that's the bus that's why I said if you can please plan to be there around 2:30 in the afternoon, then we can all be on the shuttle together or the bus transportation together to Ciba. Once we get to Ciba, there is a ferry that takes us over to the island, and you can see the island just below Ciba. If Franklin, if you can just point to that island, the bigger island down past, yeah, right there. That's the island of Vieques. So that's where we would be going. So next slide, please. So again, on January 4, we would go from San Juan to Ciba via the bus. The bus will leave no later. We said 4:30. That's why we said try to be there around 2:30. By the time you get your luggage and get outside, if you want to be on the bus, then we will be leaving from San Juan to Ciba about 4:30. Now, here's an alternative for those of you who do not wish to drive to Ciba and then take a ferry. You can actually fly from San Juan directly to Vieques. I believe the flights are around $190 or thereabouts. I think it's round trip, but you'd have to confirm that. It was quite a bit more for us. So instead, we decided that we would take the bus to Ciba. The ferry is only $2 each way. So the cost is considerably different. So that's why we have the current schedule. So if we take the bus from San Juan to Ciba, we probably, it says 5:30 there, we probably won't arrive till about 6. The last ferry of the night leaves at 8 p.m. So no matter what, we've got to be on that ferry. The ferries book way in advance. They book out because they're so inexpensive. That's the way all the locals prefer to travel. And so if you plan on joining for this portion of the trip and not flying directly to Vieques, which of course you're welcome to do, if you plan to take this form of transportation, we have to be on that 8 p.m. Ferry from Ciba to Vieques. We will arrive in Vieques January 4th, right around 9 p.m. It'll probably be a little before 9 p.m. on the day of the 4th. That is because it's about a 45-minute ferry ride. Some of the vehicles, and again, like I said, we have to buy those tickets ahead of time or some of our people won't get in. Once we get to Vieques, it's a pretty small island, but with traffic and its island time and its island driving styles. In talking with the Pastor Gladys, we have to plan for just a little bit more time, but it won't be very much time. Right there when we arrive in Vieques, there is the Seventh-day Adventist Church is right near there, and then where the majority of the people will be staying is for those of you who want to, you're welcome to stay in any hotel you like, of course, but for those of you who would like to stay in the Methodist Hope Center. The Methodist Hope Center has accommodations for 50 people. It's $20 per night per person. It does have group bathrooms, but it sounds like we're going to get more information very quickly. The pastor has been trying to get pictures and hasn't been able to connect with the individual that actually runs the facility, but they do this all the time for mission trips. The Methodist Hope Center is the location on the island where most mission trip people stay from various denominations. Thunderbird Academy students, as well as other Academy students, based on availability, will be able to stay at the church for no cost. And that is, again, for our students. That's the Medina Seventh-day Adventist Church in Vieques. And we'll talk about transportation in just a minute. Next slide, please. Here's just pictures of the ferry going from Seba to Vieques, and we'll be talking about the trip back from Vieques to Seba on the 11th in just a few minutes. Next slide, please. We talked about church accommodations. There's both the Methodist, and again, you're welcome to stay at an Airbnb, just like any other LHA event. You're welcome to stay at the Methodist location. You're welcome to stay at a hotel, whatever you would like to do, but these are some of the options. We do need to ask for those of you who want to take part in the accommodations that we have available to let us know ASAP, because if most people are not wanting to partake in those accommodations, we do need to let them go so that they can utilize them for other mission groups that may be wanting to use them. Next slide, please. So January 5, so this will, and now we will be on Monday, the 5th. January 5 will be clinic setup. We're planning that this is probably with worship and breakfast. Every morning we will have worship, we'll have breakfast. The breakfast will be taking place at the Methodist Hope Center. They have a very large kitchen there. That's where we're going to be making the meals. So we'll have sack lunches for the volunteers during the day, and we will have our breakfast together. We'll have worship there, and then off we will go to our clinic setup site. We will be there. I'm anticipating this is not going to be anywhere near the size of some of our other events, so I don't think the setup is going to take as long. But nonetheless, we have put a little extra time until I get a chance to actually fly there and do a site visit, which I'm hoping to as soon as possible. I'm estimating from 8 to 3. And again, it's probably not going to be that long. We will have dinner. Oh, it should say 5 p.m. I'm so sorry. It says 5 a.m. And then there is an optional bioluminescent bay tour. Now, this is a pretty neat thing. Like I said in the email, we're really excited because this is Christmas break and many families are together. And this is really a way to have a mission trip that's a family vacation, as well as being an outreach to those around us. And so we want to allow all of our volunteers to partake if they'd like, because this is such a beautiful location. So if you do a Google search on the most attractive, most visited place in Vieques, it's Bioluminescent Bay. And next slide, please. You'll understand very quickly why it's bioluminescent. Do you see in that bottom corner? It's bright blue. It's absolutely gorgeous. Many of the kayaks will go out on a kayak for those of you who want to go. They're giving us a very significant discount. In winter time, it's peak season for Puerto Rico. And so the prices of right now, it's at $60 per person on the kayak if you were just going to go. But during peak season, it goes up to close to $80 a person. So I talked to a gentleman today on one of the tours that his uncle is actually a Seventh-day Adventist. And when he found out what we were doing, he said, you know, I will be happy to give your people for $45 a person if they would like to go out on Bioluminescent Bay. So what you want to do, you obviously need to go at nighttime. If you go back to the previous slide, because there potentially may be so many of us, we're estimating about 70 people total coming. We're not exactly sure on that number. That's why I'm hoping we can get our numbers squared away as fast as possible. The government of Vieques, because they don't want to damage the water, only allows 14 people per tour. So, we're gonna, depending on how many people sign up that would like to go on the Bioluminescent Bay tour, it's entirely optional. By no means is it required. But if you'd like to go at the discounted rate, we can only take 14 people per tour. You don't want to go too late at night when the moon is out, because we won't be able to see the beautiful luminescence. And so in talking to the gentleman, he says on that particular night, it's based on when, if the moon is out or if it's a full moon, the 6:30 p.m. time would be the best. Those who are not in tour group 1 will have an opportunity to visit the Esperanza Beach and some of the shops nearby, and we'll talk about more of those details later on. Next slide, please. We can go back to the next slide after that. Some of the kayaks, by the way, actually have clear bottoms, so you can see straight into the water and actually see the fish and the coral and the plankton and all kinds of other beautiful things in the water. So the first day of the clinic will be the 6th, January 6th and 7th. I don't know why that says PM. It should not say that. It's January 6th and 7th. And this is the order of scheduling. So again, this will be on Tuesday and Wednesday of the clinic. So the clinic is going to run Tuesday, Wednesday, half a day, Thursday. So we'll set up again on Monday the 5th, and Tuesday, Wednesday will be a regular full day. So this is January 6 and 7. We'll do the breakfast at 7 a.m. there at the Hope Methodist Center. And then 8 a.m. worship. Clinic will run from 9 to 4. There'll be dinner. And then we will have the Holistic Health Outreach Children's Program from 6 to 7. I'm talking with the local pastors. I know it's a little earlier than we're used to doing the 7 p.m. The most of the churches have they have very active church members, and so they have their programs usually starting around 7. We're still in negotiation. We may run it from 6:30 to 7:30, but at this time it was recommended that we run from 6 to 7 so that some of the other groups don't feel like we're infringing upon their time. So hoping that we can get a lot of people come and not feel like they don't feel like we're competing with them, that we're there to minister to their needs. What that allows us to do is teams 2 and 3, for those who were not able to go to Bioluminescent Bay on the previous day, on setup day, on Monday, they will have an opportunity because the moon will actually be completely not present on Wednesday. And so our potential tour guide is offering 2 different tours, both starting at 7:30 at night. So that's another option. Again, there'll be alternating things for people to do that don't end up going on the tour to Luminescent Bay. Next slide, please. We will be doing the regular medical care. As always, dental is greatly needed for the dentists on our call. We will be taking our portable dental units. I know Dr. Urbina, I think I saw him on. We're already talking about logistics of what we're going to need to rent over there as far as generators versus the equipment and supplies that we will be bringing. We're collecting medications. We've done these trips. I know many of you have, but overseas, when we do that, we put everything in suitcases. And so what we'll also be doing is coalescing together and figuring out how to get supplies to our volunteers so that we can get them in suitcases to Vieques. And I know some people have not had good results with shipping things in the airplane, but I personally have when I went to India and the Philippines and even to Guyana. We didn't have any problem asking the airlines to give us free luggage because this was for a mission trip. And we'll be dealing with some of those issues as we get closer, but this is just the beginning stages of where we're at. January 8th, Thursday, will be the half-a-day clinic. So we'll plan from the clinic. You know, it says 9 to 1, but really it's shutting down at noon. But you know how things go, especially with dental and even some medical piece of it. Sometimes it goes closer to 1. Estimating between 12 to 4, we can break down and get out of there. Again, I do not believe breakdown is going to be anywhere near as complicated as some of our other events are, just based on overseas mission trips. And then we'll have our holistic health team event there at 6:30. We will be also allowing people to utilize some time to walk down the beach that's right there nearby. There's some city shopping and bartering, and then we're going to talk about our Friday excursions. Next slide, please. So for the students, all those who are participating in the global health and the marine biology courses, this is really your exciting time. Both the bioluminescent bay, learning about why it's bioluminescent, and the plankton actually, and they're causing the change in the color. But Friday and Sabbath is really an opportunity to get to know the island and the beauty that God really created there. So there will be two that's completely free. Hopefully, if you know how to snorkel, that's wonderful. If you have never snorkeled before, we can teach you. And if you don't want to get in the water, that's perfectly fine too. And you can enjoy walking around and looking at different things on the beach and different things. But the tour will be going up, and this is not costing anything more than the cost of the transportation. We'll be snorkeling with sea turtles and ruins at Mosquito Pier at Punta Arenas, and you can look that up. That's the second most visited place on Vieques. We will also, God willing, be going to snorkel at Playa La Shiva, and I apologize, I'm slaughtering these names. But beaches number 8 and 10 have the most beautiful, richest marine life. And then we'll come back, we'll have our dinner, and we'll have our remaining last evening holistic health team presentation. And then we'll go into Sabbath. So next slide, please. And this is just a picture of Playa La Shiva. You can see the snorkeling is just, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It's some of the most gorgeous beaches that I understand in the world. Next slide, please. So our Sabbath Nature Immersion Day. So we will be having church with our local church members, inviting the community to join in the last final, I'm calling it here evangelism, but we've called it already holistic health message and worship, inviting the community, come and join us and experience the rest that we've been talking about in Jesus all week. These are Christians, and so we're starting from a Christian perspective and helping them understand the truths that Jesus wants to offer them holistically. In the after, we'll have lunch, and then afternoon we will be going to the Vieques Wildlife Refuge hike. It's about a 10 to 20 minute hike for those of you who want to join in. Actually, I'm so sorry. The Wildlife Refuge hike is actually very short. That's where we see the wild horses and the birds and the local animals and different beach views. And then if you want to hike to Playa Negra, which is the black sandy beach, it's about a 10 to 20 minute hike depending on hiking ability. We'll have sundown Sabbath Vespers on the beach, and then our light dinner, and go back to our accommodations where we will pack up. Next slide, please. And on the 11th, we're leaving very early. We will need to catch the 6 a.m. Vieques to Ciba ferry, which means we need to be there with adequate time. That's the first ferry out. It will plan to arrive us around 7-ish, 7:15 by the time we get off. We'll plan, the bus is going to be leaving at 8 a.m. from Ciba back to San Juan. For those of you departing to different locations other than Phoenix, you're welcome to take your San Juan to wherever you're going back to that location. For those of us going to Phoenix, we will all be on the, God willing, I mean, obviously you can fly on whatever flight you want to fly on, but the group of us will be leaving at 2:30 in the afternoon. They did tell us, no matter which location you're going to, the local pastor has told us, although we do not have to have a passport, this is a U.S. territory, we don't actually have to go through customs when we come to San Juan going back to the continental United States. However, we have to go through, it's basically like domestic travel. I don't know for those of you who've ever flown to Hawaii, but they go through all your luggage. They make sure that you don't have any produce or anything that might cause some sort of problem back in the continental U.S. I guess Vieques or San Juan is even more extensive than flying in and out of Hawaii. So just keep that in mind. That's why the recommendation was, although we're planning to actually arrive in San Juan at the latest around 10 a.m. because it's about a 2-hour bus ride from Ciba to San Juan. Catching a noon flight, I've been told, might be very tight. So because you have to go.
Dr. Bland, I'm sorry, Dr. Lewis, I'm not able to hear you right now.
I apologize. Can you hear me now? I had to call back in on my phone. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, so again, it's best to give yourself, I was told, minimum of 3, closer to 4 hours there in San Juan before your flight out. So that's the reason we're leaving so early um, out of Vieques, so that people have enough time in San Juan to get to their final destination on that Sunday, because most of us have to go back to work on Monday or to school. Next slide, please. So this is just a beautiful picture from the air of Vieques. I was just going to briefly talk to us about the cost of different aspects. So we're estimating about $130 for the entire week per person for food. We might be able to get those prices down a little bit, but we wanted to start at that amount, so that instead of, you know, underestimating and coming back and being in a pickle, that we would, and this is a very inexpensive meal preparation, all meals being done at the Methodist Church in Esperanza at the kitchen. So again, like I said, we're hoping we can bring that price down a little bit, but I did want to put that out. So for the whole week, we're estimating $130 for the week. And that would basically travel on the 4th. We're not arriving until 9 o'clock at night into Vieques. So really, travel meals are on your own. We will plan to have a lunch with us when we leave, going back from Vieques back to San Juan, so everybody can at least have a lunch. And a light, well, probably it'll be a light breakfast lunch, and then you'll be on your own after that. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is just an overall cost, because um, that's been the biggest question from everyone. So again, I have no idea where all of our volunteers are coming from, but from the airfare that I'm working on to help my Thunderbird Academy students come, the airfare, whether or not it includes GYC or not, is around $800. And for some of you, it's going to be a lot less than that. For others, it may be a little bit more, depending on where you're coming from. Obviously, time is of the essence as far as purchasing airfare. I am going to be reaching out to the airlines. I haven't done it yet. I've just been trying to work the schedule and figure out, how can we make all of these logistics work? And we're still working through some details. But I am planning to contact the airlines and see if there's something that they can do to help. But I can't guarantee that at this time. Like I already said, the mission facility housing at the Methodist location is $150 for the 7, I think it's, what is that, the 7 nights. And that is at the $20 per night per person. There is a limited first come, first serve, as I already mentioned. No cost for sleeping bag style camping young person academy students at the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And like I said, there's showers there, there's a small kitchen, and etc. Transportation is $74. That includes the bus. And again, you don't have to utilize these transportation methods or any of this to participate. You can participate and stay where you want to stay and use your own transportation and do your own thing and participate in the clinic. But this is just for those. We just need to know numbers, because obviously the more numbers we get, we can raise or drop the cost. We're not going to raise the cost, but drop the cost accordingly. So transportation is about $74. And again, that includes the bus from San Juan to Ciba. It also includes, although it's not completely complete, I guess we're just going to have to call it this, transportation on the island of Vieques, as well as the ferry ride. Food is, as we already mentioned, $140, and then that comes to, with no bio bay and no GYC additional options, $1,064. Again, that price may be higher than what you will need to do if you, again, find other airfares and or transportation. Optional costs are there below that you can look at those and decide whether or not you want to participate in those optional additional things as well. Next slide, please. I think that may be the last. Was that the last slide? So I think it might be the last slide. So I'm actually really excited about this mission trip. I personally love going on, well, I love missions, obviously. I this is my passion, but I especially like going to places that are really, really in need. We went to a very in need location in Asheville, North Carolina, and God blessed so much. When we've been in all of our places, God is really blessed, but it's especially heartwarming when we can go and help people that are really, really in need. And Vieques seems to be that kind of situation. In addition to that, it's a really neat opportunity of bonding with other missionaries. It's similar to any other overseas mission trip that perhaps that some of us have been on. But it's a wonderful way of developing a lifelong family, and it really changes the life of young people. In fact, I was just going through all my old videos and I found my VHS video of my trip to Guatemala. And it literally changed my whole life. And so I'm hoping that whether we're young or whether some of us are a little bit on the older side, that those of you who decide to participate in this trip, that it will also be for you a life-changing life experience. So I think with that, let's go ahead. Dr. Urbina, can you have closing prayer for us? And then I want to take questions and suggestions and ideas from those of you who are on the call.
Sure. Gracious Father, again, we thank you for the opportunity to do what you modeled for us, for our brothers and sisters in Puerto Rico. Lord, we pray that your Spirit would open the doors and make the opportunities possible through transportation, through supplies and materials, equipment, through working with the agencies. Lord, may this be an experience that expands your work in the island, and has also a blessing for us and grows our spiritual vigor for sharing the gospel. So we thank you in advance for all that you're going to be doing and for all those that will be participating. We thank you for these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Okay, does anyone have any questions, suggestions, concerns, thoughts? We'd love to hear from you.
I do have a question, Dr. Lewis. Where is the location of the clinic relative to the Methodist housing facility?
I'm still trying. It's right downtown Vieques, and that's right by Esperanza. So if we can pull the map back up, I don't know if Esperanza was on. Oh, you know what? That little map. Go ahead and pull it up. I can sort of show you if you don't mind, Franklin, if you can. It's right next to Vieques. So everything, in fact, the Adventist church, which she was Pastor Gladys was saying, oh, it's a little ways away. It's the furthest part away. I mean, the island is very, very small. And I said, well, isn't it like because I had read it was like a 20-minute drive, maybe at the most, 15 to 20 minutes, even though it's only like 2 miles. And she said, well, yes. And so for them, that's a really long drive, but it's really not. But Esperanza is right next. I don't know if you can make that bigger. No, that's the island of Puerto Rico. No, that's right. Go ahead and go back to that one. If you can just blow up. Well, let's see if it's not even going to show up. I apologize. I'll have to send it out to you on a map, Dr. Urbina, but suffice it to say, Esperanza is right next to Vieques proper, which is downtown Vieques. So it's not very far at all. The Adventist church is a little bit of a distance. Like I said, it's 15 to 20 minutes away from Esperanza, but I think it's the south. I want to say it's a little southeast of Esperanza. But
So-
the location of the event is right next to where the Methodist church is.
So
The
those,
Methodist location.
yeah. So in to find a hotel, it would be nice to know what the
Esperanza.
address.
Yes, you want to be near Esperanza.
Okay.
Esperanza is the tourist location. It really is. And I will try to find a hotel. I know that the accommodations might not be what some of us would like. I will try to see if I can find a discounted hotel. When I looked, everything was kind of more on the expensive side. However, I did find a couple Airbnbs that were not that expensive. So, but yes, looking towards Esperanza, which is the main tourist location, would be the best place as far as a hotel. But like I said, I'll try to find something that they're willing to discount us at.
Okay, thank you.
Hmm.
Dr. Lewis, someone else has their hand raised.
Yes.
Yeah, that's me. That's Gladys.
Hi, Pastor Gladys. Everyone, I want to introduce you to Pastor Gladys. She's the pastor of the local church there. So thank you so much for joining us. Please share.
Yes, in regards of the geography of the location, the port is walking distance to where the mayor's office is, and that's where the plaza is, where the medical is supposed to be taking place. Esperanza is on the south side of the island. It's on the other side of the island. It's
Oh,
small. It's small, but it's not walking distance. Um, the Methodist Retreat Church, that's in Esperanza. That's where the tourist location and the businesses. That's where the people go there to enjoy. But we're gonna be on the north side, close to the port, where the ferry is gonna be. So it's
so Pastor Gladys, can, if they get a hotel, I think we're talking about transportation. If they get a hotel near the Methodist location, then they can utilize our transportation. If they just
the
make themselves available to get to the Methodist location, correct?
yeah, yeah. That's where most of the hotels and the B&Bs are. Near the port, they have sun, and around the plaza also, but it's not a walking distance if you are in Esperanza going to downtown.
So, Dr. Urbina, I would recommend getting a hotel near where the Methodist church is so that you can utilize the transportation unless you want to have your own transportation, especially in case you wanted to go on some of the outings or anything like that.
Right, so we'll scratch Esperanza. We'll just look for something near the Methodist Center.
Yeah.
No, the Methodist Centers is in Esperanza.
Oh,
Yes, but the location for where the clinic is going to be taking place is on the north side.
Dr. Urbina, I'll try to find a hotel right next to the Methodist place. I'll look into that and see if we can't, because you're not the only one that's asked that. So I'll try to see if I can find one that's right next to the Methodist location so that you can utilize the transportation that we'll have coming in and out of the Methodist location.
right.
Yeah,
I would appreciate that.
there's
Yeah.
going to be a few hotels around that Methodist church. There is.
Okay, thank you
Yeah.
so much. Pastor Gladys, do you have anything else you want to share with us?
Right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, just keep praying and just for the Lord to open the doors for us to be able to coordinate everything that's going to be going on.
Do you think that this will be a great blessing to the community? What is your thoughts about that?
It will be. We get a lot of other organizations going there doing services, medical services, and things like that, but never to the point of teaching them the Bible method of keeping up with the health.
Mm.
We get the government sends students, nurses, and things like that, but there's never a focus on to follow up on these, teaching them how to do these things at home. Because, like you said, we don't have a hospital yet. It's almost complete, but it's not finished. They have to fly it out of the island to get their medical checkups and things like that. But if they can learn how to utilize what the Lord has given us, that will be a benefit.
That sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
Anyone else have any thoughts or questions for Pastor Gladys or for myself?
To
What's the size of the facility?
Pastor Gladys, he's asking, what is the size of where we're going to be doing the clinic? I'm not sure that she knows that. Do you know the size?
In terms of the measurements, no, it's a pretty big room, but I don't know specific. I can find out this week when I go back to Vieques.
Thank you. Can you
Does
can
it
you
have-
also, sorry, go ahead.
Does it have individual rooms or is it just one large auditorium?
It's a large auditorium.
So
Does it have power?
It has power, it has AC. It's what they call, what is it, the name that they use it? They have a
multi-purpose?
multi-purpose facility. They can put dividers and things like that. And it have electricity, it have bathrooms, it has AC, it has what you call it, for you to do your evangelistic meetings, sound system and all that. But for to check on the patients, then we will have to put some kind of dividers and curtains and things like that.
Dad, what we did in the Philippines that worked really well. This is my father, Pastor Gladys, Mr. Gilbert, Pastor Gladys. We had just literally, it was the locals found some pipe. It was actually PVC pipe, and we put it in buckets of sand. It sounds really funny, and we used curtains, and it actually worked. So that's how we did pipe and drape when we did it. And actually, I think we did that in the Philippines and in India, both, and it worked. Because we
Yeah,
obviously we can't transport our pipe and drape.
Yeah, I seen that too in Mission Trip, but we'll see what we can do, because I've been talking to the lady that is gonna help us get the building about that, and she said that that won't be a problem. We can work
That's
it out
wonderful.
somehow. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else have any questions or suggestions?
I was going to ask the pastor, is there a place on the island if we did need to utilize generators? Is there kind of like a shop there for that type of items?
Our church has 3 generators.
Okay. Okay.
All we need to do is just get them out and check them out before you guys come in to make sure that they're working.
And Doctor, you've been here. I am talking to Dr. Laredo. If you want to reach out to him, I know you two are close.
Right.
And we know the journey he's been on, but would love to see him and Dr. Laredo and Bonnie. I think they would really enjoy this mission trip.
Right.
The other thing, Dr. Lewis, if possible, do include me in the hotels
Okay,
whenever we find them in that area.
okay. Yeah, I'll start working on that tonight.
Dr. Lewis, this is Michelle and Paul.
Hello.
Hi, from North Carolina, where you were here not too long ago.
Yeah,
So I have a question, and that is, can I get some information about this that I can give to my principal where I work to see if he
yes.
can give it to some of the students? I am not quite sure at this point in time if school will have just begun for us from Christmas break or if they will still be out. I'm not too sure, but Dr. Sandy was saying that you were wanting
Yes,
students. So,
absolutely. So, what we can do is I don't know, Franklin, after this is over, can we email this out to everyone the recording or post it or something so people can watch it. And then
Yes.
those slides, maybe we can just email the slides out, Franklin. I don't know. But then as far as your principal is concerned, so for example, Thunderbird Adventist Academy actually resumes school on Thursday, the 8th. So they're missing the 8th and half a day on Friday, the 9th. And the school just approved it because it's just a day and a half out of school. So that was for us, and I have no idea, every school is gonna have their own
Right.
timeline.
Yeah.
But by all means, yeah, let's try to get that out. And then Franklin, if you don't mind helping me, if you could send an email with these PowerPoint slides, that would be great.
And Michelle, I just wanted to
Yes.
add, I didn't know you were on. You were such a blessing in your young people in North Carolina.
Oh, thank you.
And I do know that your principal did work with the students in order for them to volunteer in North Carolina. So I think they would really be blessed by this mission.
Okay, I will present it to him and tell him about it. I was talking to my boss, and he used to be at Thunderbird, and I was asking him if his son would be interested, and he said, "Well, send me some information about it." I said, "I'll find out. They're having a Zoom meeting." I'm sorry I got on late. I was out and didn't come back in time. So if you send that, I'll be able to watch some of the other things too in regard.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And then the next question is, Paul and I are not medical, and would there be room for us to volunteer, or you?
Yes. No, no, no. Yes. I didn't talk about the non-medical needs for sure. For sure. We need lots and lots of non-medical needs. Hospitality is, of course, are all the usual things, registration, hospitality, translation is going to be a really big one this time around as well. So, everything. We'll need a children's program. So yes, definitely need non-medical people for sure.
And Paul is a construction kind of guy.
He's a
Oh,
construction and electrician, and then volunteers with the sound system at church and stuff like that.
absolutely. Lots of logistical needs, lots as well, because we're going to have, like we talked about with the questions about the generators and transportation and how to make all of these things come together. So definitely need non-medical people for sure. In fact, if you go to the website, again, libertyandhealth.org, you'll see, if you scroll down, it'll say Puerto Rico. We have Phoenix on there too, so don't get confused, but it'll say Puerto Rico. It says non-licensed and licensed, and just fill out the it's the same kind of form that we did for Asheville. As soon as we can get that information, then we can start making our logistical needs as far as who needs accommodations, who doesn't want accommodations, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Hi. My question is, are we using the same application for people in Puerto Rico who would like to volunteer? I already
Yes.
have a couple of volunteers from there.
Yes,
But I
please.
wasn't sure about the application process. It's the same thing that we're using. And my other question is, do we have any brochures in Spanish that I could send out?
I asked Mario, he's our graphics gentleman, to create one. I think he was going to work on it today, but I'll circle back around with him and ask him again to please get those flyers out as soon as possible in Spanish. He and his wife are bilingual, and so they usually do a great job of turning that around pretty quickly.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you said that was Liberty and Health Alliance?
Libertyandhealth.org. There's no,
Or dot?
the
Oh, okay.
website is just Liberty, A-N-D, not the ampersand sign, libertyandhealth.org.
Okay.
And Michelle, if you have trouble, you can always text me and I can help you.
Okay. Is that Dr. Sandy?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Hi.
Hi. I had questions still about licensure. And Michaela's response to me was just, I didn't understand what she was trying to say. And so, like, How is that working for medical and dental people? They have to be USA licensed? Do we have to go through the whole process all over again? Michaela seemed to indicate that we had to start from scratch, that there was no reciprocation.
That was not the understanding that I had, but I have, my understanding is we actually have reciprocity as long as we're licensed in another state, similar to what we've gone through with different states. But I have asked Rosalind Martin, Dr. Martin, to work on it because Michaela's been very, very busy lately and is not able to help as much right now with her job. So Dr. Martin was working on that. I asked her on Friday and she said she would try to get me the specifics, and she's helped us with it for many, many years. She would try to get me specifics on Monday. So I'm going to circle back around with her tomorrow and see where we're at. But my understanding was that there is reciprocity because it's a territory of the U.S.
Okay, thank you. I can connect with Dr. Ross.
Okay, thank you, Sandy. Any other questions? All right. Well, I just want to say thank you to everyone for joining, and I'm excited to see where this ends up, where God has us, how He has us all come together. I was really excited because it's such a neat thing working with, Seventh-day Adventists all over the world. So I mean, obviously this is still a U.S. territory, but it's a little ways away. And meeting Pastor Ortiz and Pastor Ortiz is the ministerial director for the East Puerto Rican Conference, and talked to the union, and they were very excited. And of course, Pastor Gladys has been so helpful. Thank you so much, Pastor Gladys, for all your help. I'm excited to see where God takes all of this. And yeah, so we'll stay in touch. Please let other people know that this is going to be a really neat mission trip, and it's going to be refreshing. I think it's also going to be a come ye apart and rest a little while as well. So, all right, I hope you all have a wonderful evening. God bless, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.